Hello and welcome back to another live recording. I am Spencer Brinkerhoff III, and I am recording live from Studios B3. That's SB. See what I did there? We're continuing to talk today to our Star Wars Celebration artists in preparation for Star Wars Celebration Orlando 2017. I don't know, is that the official name? Something like that. And today we're calling all the way from... Oh, wait, not France. Luxembourg? Is that what we say? Chris Dee.
Exactly.
There he is. Chris, welcome to the show. Oh, I switched over to you so that we can see your artwork. Let's go ahead and I'll go head to head with you. Chris, what time is it in Luxembourg right now?
Hang on, it's almost 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Now, I think initially I said that we can try and go a little bit earlier, and you're like, oh no, 1 a.m. is better for me. What are you doing out so late? I mean, is this a normal thing?
No, actually, but it's St. Patrick's Day, and I'm celebrating with you. So happy St. Patrick's Day.
Well, you know what? That reminds me. So, since you're sort of like finishing up your St. Patrick's Day is over for you now, and you're in the future, I was wondering if you could get some lottery numbers for me. Um,
All right, are you ready? So it's
Hold on.
one,
No, wait.
4.
Give it to me offline, because then if anybody else gets them, we're sunk. All right.
All right, all right. I'm gonna hook you up, man.
Thank you very much. Now, Chris, we're here to talk today not just about time traveling and winning the lottery, but about your new artwork. Welcome and congratulations on making it back into the Star Wars Celebration art show. That's fantastic, right?
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
is this your second time being in the show, or is it third, fourth?
No, no, no. That's my second time. I didn't make it into the last one, which was in Europe. That would have been great. But apparently they want me to travel, so
Right, exactly, right? Well, it wouldn't be an adventure if you weren't, traveling all the way around the world to do this stuff. So let's talk a little bit now. I'm going to switch back over again. I'm going to show off your art piece. So I'm going to come here onto this screen and reveal it very large on my screen. The name of your piece is Watchful Guardian, and we have you. Well, you go ahead and explain to us what we've got here.
okay, so on the print, like I gotta visualize it. Hang on. All right, you have
You,
Obi-Wan sitting
yes.
in the desert, and he's meditating. He's training to well, he's going through some exercises. What could that be? Who is he trying to talk to? But at
Ah.
the same time, he keeps watch over a young moisture farmer and his family. And
Owen. Owen, is that who it is?
oh no, no, we know. Yeah, you have a little figure standing in the back who's not too happy about Obi-Wan sitting there. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it's Owen Lars. He's not happy that Obi-Wan's sitting there. So
Now,
and yeah.
and he's sitting right by sort of the moisture evaporators. Now, do the moisture evaporators, I don't remember this, do they act sort of like a barrier to sort of like the Lars homestead, and he's just outside of that barrier? Or is it just sort of like he's outside? Is he trying to stay out of the way?
Well, he's clearly trying to stay out of sight since the Lars family doesn't like the old hermits staying too close to their son or to their nephew. So I thought he tried to sort of stay out of reach and out of sight, be a bit little discreet about it. But I'm pretty sure the Lars family knows that he's hanging around there quite often.
Excellent.
And plus, moisture evaporators, I think they're a little scattered all over the place when I was looking at references. And yeah, like the name says, apparently they use them to get water out of the soil or out of the air. And
Right.
so Obi-Wan would, I guess he'd prefer to stay hydrated when he's meditating and guarding Luke. So
Now, one of the other fun things that you mentioned in there, sort of like you alluded to it, but let's just go ahead and talk about it. In this situation, you said that Obi-Wan Kenobi is meditating. It's called watchful guardian, and he's there sort of like to make sure that Luke is safe. You know, that Luke is protected in this time. Now, you alluded to the fact that he's meditating, but you didn't come right out and say it. Are you imagining that in this scene, as he's protecting and watching over the homestead, that he's actually practicing his meditation and communicating with Qui-Gon Jinn?
absolutely, so basically, I got the idea to do this print when I was watching Episode 3,
Yeah.
and the last conversation between Yoda and Obi-Wan goes as follows. It's Yoda saying, "Yeah, to his family on Tatooine, we send a boy." And Obi-Wan's like, "Yeah, right on. I'm gonna watch over him. I'm gonna protect him." Then Yoda tells him, "Hey, before you go, Obi-Wan, I got some exercises. It's like a guy
Right.
who wants to talk to you, like real bad." And so yeah, that was the idea for the prince. Obi-Wan keeping watch over Luke, which became sort of his responsibility, and trying to communicate with Qui-Gon to get his advice and to help him protect what's left of the Skywalkers. So
Right. Now, I don't know if you remember this or not, and I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly, but in the novelization, does it actually sort of like mention, the Journal of the Wills, or does it mention sort of Qui-Gon a little bit more in depth in that like closing scene with Yoda, or does Yoda mention that he has been training with someone? Do you remember that part? I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly.
I'm not sure. I read one Obi-Wan novel, which was 5 or 6 years ago, so it's not canon anymore.
Right.
Um, and I haven't read the new one yet. I should have done that, but I wasn't even sure if it was canon or not. I'm completely losing track here, man. So,
Well, here's
but
the thing: is if Lucasfilm is going to be so strict on protecting the canon, and well, I was going to say, and they've accepted your art print, then it's canon. Everything is good now, right?
I hope so. Or, you know, the thing about the print is it doesn't say these things, so
Right. Right.
you can make up whatever you want. You can Obi-Wan can be communicating with anyone or just chilling,
Right. He's just
thinking,
hanging
"Oh my
out.
God, it's so hard. I'm gonna levitate these rocks above my head so I get some shadow." It's like
Nice.
tell your story. That's what I love about most of the prints in the art show. It's you can just make up your own story. Like what's happening there? Like
It's wonderful. Now, when you put this piece together, tell me what you did for sort of like reference and gathering all of your sort of like resources. And specifically, I want to talk about sort of like what you did for environment. And I also want to talk about sort of like Obi-Wan and Old Ben and sort of like where this reference image came from, and what were you thinking in
that's
this
a good
one?
one.
Yeah. So go for it. Where do you want to start?
Well, at these Well, the creation process of gathering references it wasn't that complicated, first of all. So I was looking through some typical Star Wars reference. For example, moisture evaporators. You'd be surprised; it's quite hard to find good reference of those things. Um, like sand crawlers, plenty
Right.
of stuff. What
Oh
could
yeah.
you put in this landscape that would reflect Tatooine
Uh-huh.
without having it to be an exact copy of the screen of the movie? Because I uh, I like kind of making my own versions of these places, so it doesn't look exactly like the place in the movie.
Right.
You didn't see mountains in the back, or I kind of suggested some mountains in the back there. So I was just what could look
Over
nice.
behind Obi-Wan, like where the sand crawler is, there's that incline, so that's what you're talking about with the mountains?
Yeah, exactly. I actually had bigger mountains on there because when I was watching for references, I saw Tatooine has quite a lot of canyons and mountains and
Oh, right. Right.
whatnot. So I was wondering how can I um, sell this place as Tatooine as being close to the Lars farm, considering that everybody has seen the movies and knows exactly what that place looks like.
Right.
So I went a little bit off the grid there, and I just started placing iconic shapes, the twin suns, the sandcrawler, which was at the beginning close to the homestead.
Yeah.
I wanted to hint that, yeah, maybe they're buying new droids or something, like little mini stories scattered
Yeah.
left and right. So
Sort of like in the vein of Rogue One, that this event is right before the episodes that we the right before the scenes that we saw in episode 4. So maybe the Jawas are just leaving after the sale of the droids, kind of a thing.
yeah, well, it's quite a while before New Hope because Obi-Wan is still relatively young.
Okay.
Um, I actually now comes the interesting part about the reference for Obi-Wan. So I was watching some YouTube videos the other day, and I stumbled upon a fan-made trailer for an Obi-Wan standalone movie.
Right.
And the guy who made this actually used shots from a new movie with Ewan McGregor where he's portraying Jesus, I think.
Yeah.
And he looks like Obi-Wan. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like yeah, he's like space Jesus. And I was like, okay, he has the right age. It's actually a couple of years. Yeah, a couple is cute. It's some years after episode 3, so Ewan McGregor aged, and I figured, yeah, he has the right age on that reference. So I started grabbing everything I could from the trailers and started analyzing how he aged, and he aged surprisingly well. Um,
Yeah.
so I could use most of the old references too to complete some of the perspectives, because he's one of my biggest troubles when painting is getting likenesses right, and it's one of the most important things when you portray iconic characters. It's make him look um,
Like that.
like
Like the character. Right. Yeah.
exactly like the actor. And when you want to do realistic stuff like I wanted to do, it needs to look like Ewan McGregor. So that was a challenge for me, but luckily I found relatively good reference, and
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Thank you, Ewan McGregor, for starring in this Jesus movie. I believe it was called Last Days in the Desert. So, was that maybe an alternate title for your Star Wars print? Is Last Days in the Desert?
no, but now that you say it, it sounds pretty interesting. The title is a fun story. Actually, I was looking for a title, and then the other night I was watching Batman,
Oh,
and
wait,
all of
wait,
a sudden,
wait. Which Batman were you watching? So, is this a Batman animated or one of the feature films?
no, it's Christopher Nolan's. I think
The
it's The
Dark
Dark
Knight.
Knight. No,
Okay.
Batman Begins.
Okay.
So at some point, I think it's Gordon, and Commissioner Gordon. At some point, he explains to his son who Batman is, and then at some point he says, "Yeah, he's a watchful guardian." I was like, "Oh my God, that's perfect!" Right there. That is a
So
little bit of Batman in there.
that's awesome. So, I mean, here we have a Star Wars art piece named after a line in a Christopher Nolan Batman movie, and using reference from Ewan McGregor in The Last Days in the Desert, all put together, and then you're adding mountains to it. It's a brand new creation, and it's one of the things that I really love about the process of creating art is that you're able to take this piece that was, it's iconic. Everybody recognizes this whole scene, even though we've never actually seen this scene, because you've been able to grab all of those iconic images. So that's thumbs up. Well done on that one.
Thank you. There's a little Easter egg in there, though.
Oh, there.
Actually,
I'm
for
gonna
the
try and zoom
sky,
in on it.
it's actually the sky. The top one. Um, Actually, as a basis for that sky, I used a picture of Celebration Anaheim, a group shot of all my friends and myself,
What?
and I twisted it and painted over it to make it look like the sky. So,
Wait. So if I turn this thing upside down,
oh
wait,
no, 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 you won't recognize anything
I
anymore. I
won't
just
see it
thought
anymore.
it's fun. No, I distorted. the hell out of it. It's completely gone. But I figured
So
it would be a fun story to tell. Like, say,
so
hey, I used you for my print.
that's awesome. Jeff Carlisle usually has a print that has a ton of different like characters in it. He's always
Yeah.
pulling people in there. But for somebody who may not completely understand what you just said, a lot of times in the artistic process and creating some of these art pieces, the artist needs texture. Not necessarily actual like, reference. We just need to break up sort of the blank space. And you used a gigantic group shot, distorted it, painted over the top of it, and the skies. Wait, so it's like your friends are all in the sky. They're angels watching over.
It's angels, very distorted and butchered angels, but angels, yeah. Watching over Jesus.
Oh yes, that's right. Well, it all makes perfect sense now. Oh, that's awesome. That's a good Easter egg because nobody's going to really know about that unless they've talked to you or listened to sort of like this interview about that, right? So I
So
like that.
everybody will know.
Because you're going to tell everyone, right?
I'm going to tell everyone that wants to know, yeah.
That's awesome. Now, a lot of times what happens with the art show is people sort of like can get lost at Star Wars Celebration. There's panel discussions to see. There's games to play. I said before, there's a diorama set that you can help build in the diorama. Roxy the Rancor is going to be there. I'm sure of it, right?
Yeah,
But then there's the art show, and the art show is sort of like quartered off in its own little sort of like existence. And some of the artists are jumping out and grabbing their own booth. So I wanted to ask you if this year at the celebration, if you're going to be in the art show that Acme is helping to run, and with all of the other sort of like the majority of the artists, or do you have a booth outside of that in your own space?
So I'm in the art show, in the Acme art show. I'm way
Gotcha.
too intimidated by all of this to have my own booth. Like,
Right?
responsibility, Um, so I'm quite happy to pay for a table, get there, and have the table all clean and set up, and just gotta.
Right.
I like that, and also like the sense of community you get when you're there with the other artists. You become really great pals with them because you spend 4 intense days with them,
Right.
and it almost feels like a team effort. Everybody does their own sales, but everyone is so supportive of each other, and that's just a great experience.
Right.
And plus, I only have a print to sell, so I'm not gonna, it's gonna be a very tiny booth if I set up
Well, and
somewhere near the hot dog store.
yeah. You know what? If you buy a bunch of extra hot dogs and you just put those under the table, you can sell those too, right? Does Acme
Yeah,
get a cut of those or just a bite out of each one before you can sell it?
I think they do what they want, so I don't really have a say in that. But yeah, that would be an incentive, selling hot dogs with your prints, and that's forbidden apparently.
Oh,
So
the food sales are? Oh,
well, I have never tried to sell food with prints. Maybe you're onto something. So
right. Well, you're going to also have to sell rubber gloves so that nobody gets their, art print greasy or anything like that. So just
oh yeah.
think ahead. Now, but wait a second. You said that, you just have your art print to sell. You have artwork that you did at the last celebration that you appeared at. Are you going to bring any copies of those art pieces as well?
Well, the problem with those is I haven't bought the rest back. I
Okay.
almost sold out of them, but I didn't buy the remaining ones back since I just missed the opportunity. I didn't know how to do it or who to approach or whatever. And I guess now it's a little too late to buy those things back. I think I brought home like 5 or 6 artist proofs for myself as a little memento.
Right.
But I'm not sure I can just go ahead and print new ones or something. I'd love to, but
No,
um,
I don't think that you can print new. Well, so let's talk about that for a little bit. For those people who don't know, it's very important to recognize that being a part of the Star Wars artist community and being part of the Star Wars art show, specifically at Celebration, the artists here have a license to create and produce this brand new artwork. And with that license, everybody has to pay for it themselves. And this is an important point as well. And Chris, you brought this up. Not only are you buying your table space, you're flying yourself to Celebration, and you're also paying for your hotel, and you're paying for all of your prints to be produced. And in the end, the artist will actually pay a licensing fee back to Lucasfilm, and I think a portion of that gets to Acme as well. I don't know how much we can talk about contract stuff, so I'm talking about my prior experience. You don't have to comment on that if you don't want to. But here's the thing, the point I'm trying to make here is that the artists that are in the art show are paying to be there, paying for the privilege to be able to create Star Wars artwork, and they need your support. And they need you to come in and look at their artwork and go, I love it, and buy it from them, you know? And so we can't just willy-nilly go and print more of these art pieces if we want to. Now, if you have some that you know were not sold in that numbered set, there may be a way to contact Lucasfilm and pay for that licensing. We can talk about that, some ideas and stuff afterwards. And you can bring some of those artist proofs and sort of give those away. But yeah, at the art show, everything needs to be licensed and approved. Now something else that I believe was in the contract. I don't know. Can you hear that phone ringing?
A little bit.
Okay.
I like phones.
I forgot to clear the room. Something else that I think was in the contract in years past was that you have the ability to create any sort of like on-the-spot sketches and sketch cards. Are you going to be doing any sketching or remark where you draw something special on the art print for a little bit extra?
Actually, yeah. Some people ask me already if I do remarks. Right now I'm waiting for the proof from the printer, so I can check out the paper and actually see what
Right.
tool I need to use to make it look good. But yeah, I actually plan on doing that. Just got to practice my fast sketching a little bit. I'm a slow sketcher. But yeah, I'm doing sketch cards and commissions on the spot.
Right.
Maybe not paintings; they take a little too long. But
Yeah.
I plan on drawing all the time. I mean, I'm not just gonna sit there and smile. Hello.
Well,
You can actually come by and check out how I'm drawing.
Oh yeah. So, and that's something else is that in addition, so when you're looking at different things that you can sell at your booth, I think that it said, in prior years, the contract stated something to the effect of more than half of your product has to be Star Wars related product. And then if you have other licensed things that you can bring that and sell that as well. But again, it has to be all licensed and approved. Now, part of that other potential sales and something else that you're going to bring is the original artwork. And with that original idea, I wanted to talk a little bit more about your process for creating this piece. Personally, I'm getting to do a lot more things digitally, and so the idea of original feels different now. So in your process in creating the artwork, what do you have an original that is going to be sold, or are you a strictly digital artist now, or how does that work out?
So the only thing that I did traditionally on this is the sketch. Actually, I got it right here.
Oh.
I just saw that, and
and when you duck down, I just saw your dual screen monitor in the back says, "Tell that to Conja Club." That is awesome.
Okay. So basically, what I did, I was sitting on Skype with Joe, like Joe Hogan. You're gonna have him on your podcast in a couple of days.
Yeah.
And we're just being like, print ideas. What are we gonna do? And then we're just having a nice night, and then I was sketching. So I came up with. Can you see this? Yeah. So this was the original sketch. It's a bit goofy, but it kind of got me the idea. He's also barefoot there, so he's a little
interesting
hippie version of Obi-Wan. So that was the original. That's where I got the idea. But afterwards, the process is entirely digital. It's just it speeds the process up tremendously. Like I'm sure you know, especially if you invested in a Cintiq. So it just feels natural.
Yeah.
Like you're painting. Just you don't have to pay for paint. Personally, I love the feel of traditional media, but it's I consider myself still a beginner. Like when you look at the people that are on the art show, they are my heroes. I learned how to draw with them. So I I need my undo button from time to time,
Right, right.
and oil paintings you don't have that, but the
But
clock's
well,
ticking. So
oil paintings are wet. You have a little bit of an undo there, but yeah, it's pretty permanent. You can't cut something out and move it around as easily in oil paints for sure.
well, that's the thing. And so what I plan on doing here is block the colors in, actually have a finalized image printed out, and then paint over it traditionally again to
Uh huh.
get this texture out. But along the road, I was having trouble finding a printer that would print it big enough for me to actually work on it for a good price. So what I did is, instead of painting over it, I actually took paper, painted on it traditionally to get these textures. I scanned them and I reincorporated them into
Oh
the
my
painting.
goodness. So
And
so to have your textured background and to have your own paint fill, you created a paint texture then. That's what you're saying, right?
exactly, it didn't quite end up how I imagined it. I imagined it like being completely awesome and changing the
Yeah.
world, but it was a nice experiment. It gave me a nice little effect there, and I'll absolutely reuse the technique. It's quite nice and fast because I didn't
Right.
even need to use the right color. I just needed texture, so I used white gesso and just went nuts.
That's awesome. So then I wanted to that I love that you're using those techniques, and I love that you're testing things out, and this is sort of like an experiment to you. And for those people also, the process to sort of get in this show, it was a pretty short window. So from the time that you knew that you had like made it, your concept art was in, until the time that you were done and it had to be approved, it was pretty short. But with all of the competition, when you send in your concept artwork, how close was your concept artwork to like your final piece when you sent that in?
I think I had. How far along the concept was.
Yeah, yeah.
When I look at it now, it looks wow, it looks really bad. I have no idea how it actually made the cut. Um, but the thing is, I actually worked on two other ideas prior to that one,
Yeah.
and it was just like in Celebration 7. I had my two ideas I was completely set on, like something with troopers again, because I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of love
Y-
troopers.
Oh,
And
right. Yeah, the
so
helmets on the back there.
exactly. So at some point I wasn't feeling those ideas anymore. It was like it's not what I want to do. I'm not having fun right now. So I was looking for something else, and I was kind of running out of time. So I had to work fast. And it looks that way. It looks extremely rushed. And
No, you're
so
talking. That was the concept piece. The
was the
concept piece.
concept.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, when I finally could take my time, I could get some really nice some really nice quality out of that one. It
Right.
was very fun. I loved working on that.
Well, Chris, it's a wonderful piece, and I'm happy to have been able to talk to you a little bit today about Watchful Guardian, your new Celebration Orlando piece, and this is one of 250. It's a limited edition. What size is this, and what price is it going to be available for?
So the pre-sales are on right now. It's a 24 by 18 inch
Okay.
print. It's horizontal, printed on 10 point t- 10 point paper. It's like cardstock.
Yeah, yeah. So
Cardboard.
that makes it stiff and durable, so that the ink that gets laid on it is really going to stick, and it's going to be a sturdier piece. It's not thin, sort of like movie poster. This is a good quality paper.
Exactly. I had the thin one last time, and this time I wanted to go for something that feels a little bit rigid. And I'm waiting for the proofs with impatience. I can't wait to touch those guys. So
And now you said that the art prints are available right now. They're up, I imagine, on the Acme's Dark Ink website. But if they wanted
Exactly.
to get that, or they follow you, I've written down that you are at Chris Dee on Twitter. Is there another way that people might be able to follow you? Or, and that's ChrispyDee, Crispy D, right? Okay. Is there a story
Yeah,
there?
that's me. Well, my name is Chris. The short for my actual name is D, so everybody can pronounce it and have an easy time with it. And
Nice.
so I thought, crispy. That's a nice pun. Has a nice ring to it, so let's go for it. You could call me Crispy. I like it.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing how all of your success at Star Wars Celebration Orlando 2017. And thanks for taking some time and staying up late. You look fabulous for being out, on St. Patrick's Day and out late.
Yeah, I saw you too earlier. You look sharp, man.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I'm just coming home from my day. It's time to get some dinner going or something. So, Chris, thank you very much. I appreciate your contributions to the Star Wars world and this piece where you've had the opportunity to interpret a little moment of Obi-Wan or Old Ben's life there on Tatooine. Is there anything else that you'd want to let everybody know before we sign off?
I wouldn't know what, but I can't wait to see you all at Celebration. Those who already pre-ordered, I'm
Right.
extremely grateful,
Yes.
and see you guys over there. Stop by.
Yeah, and
Let's have a giggle.
And for somebody who may see this video shortly and think, oh, yeah, I need to get that one, please pre-order it. So pre-ordering the print, what that does, number one, it gives the artist a little bit of a sense of security. So Chris has already bought his plane ticket to fly, and he's thinking to himself, well, awesome. I'm going to sell enough prints to cover the plane ticket, and so now I got to sell some more to cover the printing cost. There's all of these things that the artist is thinking about. So please, buy them now so that you don't have, and that's the other thing. If you pre-order it, then you don't have to worry about getting in line and taking care of it once you get to the show. It's yours. It's reserved. You're good to go. So everyone, please pick up this piece. Chris, thanks for talking to us today on this Studios B3 live recording.
Thank you, Spencer. It was my pleasure.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, Chris.
Bye.